Welcome back to the hood of the Beak Jeep with the Hive Doctor. Have you ever considered that our colonies are already heading in a direction, whether we realize it or not? And that the real question isn't what to do whenever we get into the apiary, it's how to tell where you fit in to their progressive goals. How can we help our bees do what they're already trying to do without stopping that momentum? And most beekeepers think that they're actually tracking colony progress from inspection to inspection to inspection, but in fact, I dare say that they are not. What is actually happening when we think we're taking notes and observing where the colony is right now, at best we are taking fragmented hive notes. Moments here, observations there, and little snapshots that rarely connect to the bigger picture. Think of your colony like a river. You can throw a little pebble or a stone into the river and you'll see a splash of information, but that gets quickly swallowed up into the bigger flow of what's actually already in progress and already happening. In order to truly understand a colony, we need to trace it, track its behavior over time, and map not just the little snapshot events that we get to see during our inspections, but the patterns that predict where the colony is going. Today we're talking about colony tracing, mapping the progression of your colonies so that you can see the bigger picture. Let's be honest, when it comes to taking notes, most beekeepers are looking at honey yields, whether they saw the queen or not, how much brood they had, mite counts, things that you can easily count. But counting doesn't help us see where the bees are going. They're just simply ways of telling us whether we need to take action based on a sense of urgency based on those numbers. It's kind of helpful, but it's fragmented information. You might see strong brood today, but what if that was the tail end of a declining population? Then later, that's going to turn up as a surprise and sudden apparent failure, where they were fine last week, I don't know what happened. Or you notice a lot of honey in the supers, but is it sustainably coming in or just a temporary spike? If you don't correlate your observations with the colony's broader trajectory, you're reacting to those snapshots rather than understanding colony motion and momentum. Colony tracing is about connecting the dots over time. It's asking, what is this colony trying to do? And that's going to be a seasonally dictated result. Where have the behaviors of this colony been leading to over the last few weeks? In other words, how did they get here from where they were? Because that'll help us hopefully determine where they're going from here. And what signals are subtle now, but will shape the colony a month from now. Think of it as creating a map of intention rather than just a simple ledger of notes from what you did last time and from what you saw last time in the hive. Every inspection and every observation, write it down. But don't just log numbers and counts. Include context in what you're observing. Here's how to map the 12 variables that reveal colony direction. And those 12 variables I've broken down into 3 categories. The first one are the 3 primary driving forces that dictate colony direction. The first is the biggest, forage availability. The second is brood area. Third is the presence of eggs. What does it look like? The second category are the secondary driving forces that translate the energy that the colony has into the actions that they take. And those 4 variables are adult density, comb building, space adequacy, and resource placement. Followed by the third category of the 12 variables, which are episodic variables that indicate status and alerts within the colony. And those 5 variables are queen cell activity, drone production, brood pattern, behavioral tone, and the weather. Now, if you want to learn more about these 12 variables, check out the last video I did. I've linked it right here above for you to watch after this video. You can also check out volume 3 and volume 4 of my signal-based books that go into much greater detail about how to do this and what it means for you in trying a different path in your beekeeping to get more consistent results over the majority of your colonies rather than the flip-flop where only a few are doing well. Second, observe the flow. Look for trends with your beehives, not just single events. Did the brood pattern expand? Is it contracting? Or is it maintaining a steady level? That's going to be dictated by forage availability. And of course, weather is going to play a role in that. The third way that you can begin to map your bees so that you understand their direction is to link the outcomes. Every behavior, whether it's queen movement, forager traffic, fanning, vibrational signals, these can all indicate direction. And then you compare your prior observations of these 12 variables with the ones you see now so that you can begin connecting the dots to see where they came from, to help explain how they got to where they are now. And ideally, that'll help you with step 4, visualizing the patterns, seeing where they're going. This gives us a much more clear picture of how and when we can intervene and it mean the most and disturb the least. Here's a side note on this colony tracing. I'm currently in the progress of creating a tool that you can use to map the progression of your colonies so that you can have a visual map to see the story of your bees. This gets you way more involved as a beekeeper without having to disturb them more often. I'll let you guys know when that tool is available. Now let's take an example. Let's say that you look into a colony and you see scattered brood, slow nectar intake, and high fanning activity. If you see these as isolated events in a single inspection, usually it creates a sense of urgency from which we want to act and fix things. And you would probably think, oh, I need to requeen, boost them with brood, or start feeding. These behaviors traced over a couple of weeks may indicate to you that you see that the queen has been consistently laying and that possibly those nectar flows are late and they're not increasing their egg laying rate because they don't have the resources to do it. And the fanning can indicate heat stress. They're just trying their best to keep the hive cool until things change and they can start picking up the pace. And then your map shows it's not a lack of queen quality or poor brood. It's simply a temporary environmental bottleneck that the bees are responding to. The difference? You know what you know before taking action. You're tracing the colony's trajectory, not reacting to a fragmented snapshot of inspection results. So why do this? Why trace your colonies through the season? Well, it helps you make better decisions with less stress. You anticipate problems before they occur. And you can compare colonies meaningfully across your entire apiary and be able to see each colony in its own context of direction. And you start understanding the language of the colony rather than guessing and imposing your own language on them. Often, we feel that we need to rearrange the guts of a colony to mimic what we think an ideal colony should look like. Colony tracing turns notes into practical knowledge, knowledge into insight, and insight into confident, informed actions instead of guesswork. Your colonies are always moving in some direction. They have their own intentions and momentum. The question isn't whether you should do something. The question is, are your actions in step with their progression? Stop taking notes. Start tracing your colonies. Start mapping and observe with intention as you connect the dots. Because when you do, you stop reacting to fragments and start navigating the full river that the bees are flowing with. Don't forget to check out these resources in the description below for you guys. Thank you for joining me today. I'll see you in the next video. Hive Doctor out.